Hello, YouTube. It's your boy BBT back again with another beer review. This is what I am sipping on. Velvet Rush by Founders. This is an Imperial brown ale brewed with coffee, chocolate, vanilla extract, and milk sugar, aged in bourbon barrels. Sounds delicious. A lot going on there. And I will, full disclaimer, I have had one of these before, and it is very complex. There's a lot going on with this beer. Here was the pour on it right here. It had a nice probably like 1.5 inch head on it right there. As you can tell, it's definitely pretty dark. With this lighting right here, it's slightly lighter than what the camera seems to appear on camera versus what it is that I'm looking at it in my hand. It's a slightly lighter color than what the camera is showing right there. Let's give a sniff. It almost has this over like a brown sugar kind of smell. You definitely get the hit of the vanilla and a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of coffee, but it almost has like this overarching brown sugar kind of feel to it, or smell to it. All right, it's honestly, it's not as thick as I thought it was going to be. All right, let's down the hatch this thing. That first drink is it just hits you. As soon as you take a drink of this thing, you know immediately you are not consuming a normal everyday drinking beer. It's delicious. You definitely get that brown ale. That brown ale is definitely there. You get that malty nuttiness, but you really get hit initially with a rich, creamy vanilla extract hit. And then it very much finishes. It very much finishes with the bourbon-esque flavoring on it. But let me tell you something. It's like as soon as it's just wild. It's like the more you drink it, the more flavors hit. Yeah, like I've got a slight burn going down right now. This thing tops out at 11.1%. That's what I was looking at just a second ago. And it's 11.1%. You can't taste the alcohol on the tongue, but you can taste it down the, when you swallow it. Okay. Now I'm getting like there's the nuttiness, then there is the vanilla, there's the coffee, and the chocolate notes are somewhere in the middle there. And then it finishes really rich. Almost like a brown sugar at the end is almost what I can. To me, it just tastes like a lot of brown sugar towards the end. And then at the very end, you get a little bit of the burn from the alcohol content. It's just so complex. I truly believe that the more that you drink this beer, and as you kind of go through the glass of the beer, you're gonna hear with your taste buds. I'm just kidding. No, but what you're going to taste a lot of different flavors as you go. And the more you drink it, the more other ones are going to be highlighted. It's like every drink I get a little bit more. It is rich. It's thin in the mouth, but it is very rich. So I think that that's actually relevant. This is really bordering a dessert beer. I mean, it's right there on the cusp of being a dessert beer. I think it's very good, but I definitely think that this is definitely a one and done. They come in a 4-pack. So this is probably one of those beers that honestly, you crack one of these open, I think what would be perfect is if you shared it with a friend. It's a little sweet and it has a little bit of that bourbon at the end where you can taste it, you can feel it. It's a great beer. It's a great beer. It's definitely teetering on the dessert beer. I don't know if I'd fully say that it's a dessert beer, but it's right there. It could go either way. But definitely, I think it's probably a one and done for the night. It's a very good beer. It's got so many flavors going on. I am going to give this a 9.1. I'm going to give it a 9.1 simply because there is so much going on with it. And it's like the more that you drink it, the more you explore the different flavors that are in this one. I mean, there's so much going on. Very complex. Probably one of the more complex beers I've ever had. There's a lot of beers that you have a flavoring that the profile just kind of slowly changes, but there's not too many different phases of the change. This one, I feel like every drink, it changes a little bit. Whether it's a little more coffee, whether it's a little more chocolatey, whether you get more of the vanilla or almost like a rich sugary, a brown sugary at the end. And it's just, it always hits with that little bit of a bourbon and the aftertaste. Very good beer. 9.1. Founders, you've done it again. You've made a fantastic beer in the Velvet Rush. I cannot recommend trying this beer out enough. If any of what I just said sounds intriguing or interesting to you, I think you're going to have this is a really good beer. It's smooth too. Some brown ales can tend to be a little bit harsh, but this one is not harsh at all. It's very smooth, easy drinking, lots of flavors, very complex. So yeah, that's the Velvet Rush right there. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me in the beer review. You can check me out live on Twitch, Bearded Beer Time, or you can check out my social medias on Instagram or Twitter. All Bearded Beer Time. Thank you all so much for sticking around for the beer review. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Cheers.